Night Fireside Chat. Friday Fireside Freestyle Chat. Yes. Uh, Many places, with the exception of the beautiful uh, Pacific, South Pacific, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, it is summer. So places such as South Africa, South America, Australia, it is all summer there. However, for us in the northern hemispheres, a fire right now is helpful and delicious. And I love being by the fire. Now, I'm a hot weather girl. I've found this out by what's up, Nisha? I'm back. I said, you know what? It's Friday. I'm going to go on again because why not? Because I'm inspired and because who doesn't want to talk to me next to the fire? And as I said, I love hot weather. This is well documented. Why I moved to Hawaii and why I only vacation. Thank you for the flowers, Nisha. That's what's up. And I love a sunflower. Um, I only like I appreciate every place in the world, and my preference is warm weather. Now, I will probably go up to the snow. I mean, I haven't been I've been in snow in recent years. We used to go up to the snow and do like snow sports and all of that. But I prefer to be in a little bikini by some water, all oiled up, playing volleyball. Yeah, that's right, York. I said the fire is giving me something else because sometimes you need some fire. The cold will dim you, okay? Get some fire in your life, get some sun in your life. As I say, oil up them cheeks, referring to your bottom, and lay out in the sun in the smallest amount of fabric possible. And I say this because if I go to the beach or somewhere warm, my point isn't to wear the most amount of clothes. And it's funny and it's not. It's lovely to have a life. I told my friend, it's always, hey, I see another Mauian. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's always better to live a life where you know it's going to be 80 degrees outside, but there's someone in this chat that can also add that just because you're in Hawaii does not mean that the temperature doesn't change. Or if you're in a tropical location, it's not going to be 20 degrees, but the weather changes. However, I digress. The less the fabric, thank you, Jenny, the better. The less the fabric, the better. Perfect outfit, bikini top, vintage cutoff Levi shorts, Birkenstocks, or some fly. Like, I had to rearrange my shoes when I moved to Hawaii because am I like things, but I like things that I can use. So I knew in Hawaii, there's no need for me to bring a full length cashmere coat that has been tailored for me for my New York or Europe wardrobe. I'm not going to wear it in Hawaii. Donate it. Donate it, donate it. And I share that to say there's so much that you hold on to just because you spent a lot or just because you may use it. You haven't used it in 10 years. And if you actually break up the cost, if you've had it for 10 years, you just donate it. It's not like you will get that money back. Donate it. Leave that space open. Jay Diesel, I'm acting every day, bruh. I'm acting every day of my life. That's what people would say on the plane. Like, hey, have you tried acting every day of my life? This is how to exist. And it's not an act, it's me. However, knowing how to show up in different situations is helpful for life. Um, if I walk in my parking lot, closing my eyes, walking steps to build confidence by training my mind to I'm going to read the rest because already, if you're walking in a parking lot with your eyes closed, that may not be the best option to have you see 2025. Because it's a parking lot, which means there's moving cars. If your eyes are closed, you may not see one of those moving cars. And take it from someone who's been ran over, you want to be able to see if you need to get out of the way. But what would I know? I'm only someone who's been ran over once, and it wasn't by a car; it was by a motorcycle, and that's why I share this with you because it's a shock. It's a shock to get ran over. I was shocked. Professionally, sure, yeah, that may be something in my life that I will check off. I think I have. I've done a lot of things that I want to do, and really, I mean, I am a professional actor. If you're meaning being just contact an agent like who, Jay Diesel, like the William Morris agency, like, do you have some suggestions and names? And thank you. Um, was I talking about being ran over? Yeah, that taught me, well, I'm here talking to you, so you can grow and survive from anything. And I remember someone, because this happened, I've shared this story. I was in Argentina, Buenos Aires, Argentina, in the knitting district, and buying some yarn because I love to knit. And because I made the assumption that the street I was crossing was one way, because all of the streets had been one way, and in actuality, it was a two-way street. So as I'm crossing the street in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I just start flying. And I thought, because all of this happens in a matter of seconds, initially when I got hit, I thought, whoa, because I might have been pushed by the motorcycle. Thank you, Jay Diesel. I might have been pushed by the motorcycle for a second or 2 seconds, but in my mind, I did not know what was happening. Because when you get hit by a car or a motorcycle, you don't associate like I'm getting hit by a car. Thank you, Classy. Sonicare, flossing, twice checkups at the dentist. Thank you for the follow. Tongue scraping, and I oil pull. And my mom and dad really drilled in my mind how important dental care is. And it is, because the hottest people have the best teeth. Yeah, I went into shock because I was just getting pushed and I didn't know what was hitting me. So in my mind, I thought either this is it, like this is the end of my life, this is the end of my experience of life, or whatever's happening to me, I may not walk after. That's the only thoughts that I had. And then within another millisecond, I actually flew onto the ground in the middle of the road. And this was a quite busy road in Buenos Aires because it is a vibrant, highly populated major city. And the motorcycle driver, thank you, Lee Good. I am so lovable. I really am. What does that mean, Lee Goodman? You are so lovable. Explain. I would love to hear that because I have gentlemen say all sorts of things. They're like, we can, this is a freestyle fire chat Friday, so we can even talk about that. Thank you for the follow, Ronella Jones 32. So yeah, don't get hit by a motorcycle. And what I learned in that is just look both ways. Now, anytime I cross the street, the whole time I'm crossing the street, I'm doing this because I didn't look both ways. So the moral of the story is look both ways and get up and life will go on. This is also why I am so optimistic, because Exact369, thank you for the follow. This stuff happens. Let me tell you the story of when I first got to London. So, I was a flight attendant. I started flying at 22 and I transferred to Heathrow, London, a year and a half into flying from Washington, D.C. Originally from California, was based in Washington, D.C. for a year and a half, got my transfer to Heathrow, moved to London. However, I always knew I wanted to live in London and abroad, and I knew I wanted to do it for a sustained amount of time, not a 3 month course or 6 week stay. I wanted to fully immerse myself and live outside of the US, always. So when I put in my transfer, because remember, I was based in DC, and I knew I wanted to go to one of the foreign bases. So of the bases that were available, there was Hong Kong, there was Narita, there was London, and there was Frankfurt. So my first choice was actually Tokyo, which is Narita. My second choice was Hong Kong, and my third choice was London. Whichever one I got sent to, I was going to take. I was getting the heck out of the US, okay? I do have an ageless spirit, honey, and it's getting better every day, okay? How they would, and the airline company I was with, how they would put transfers in was they would, when I put my name on the list to transfer, I was like number 500 and something, because I was brand new and there was everyone else who was senior to me who was on the transfer list. So every week, the company would clear 50 flight attendants to transfer. But out of that 50, maybe 10 would take the transfer. And they needed to fill up 300 spaces. So if they put 50 through and 10 flight attendants transferred, they would put another 50 through the next week, and another 50 through, and another 50 through, until they fulfilled their 300 person quota. So even though I was like number 500 on the list to transfer to London, my transfer went through in like 3 weeks, because people had put their transfers in 10, 20 years prior. But then they had a house or a husband or something, and it wasn't their time to go. If you are on my lives, just know I will leave. I will leave you. We can have a great thing, but my life is for me. So yeah, I actually had a boyfriend, but it wasn't a second thought like, oh, I have this boyfriend. Bye, I can get a boyfriend anywhere. I can listen, they find me. This is great. You are great. And I got to go. We could talk on the phone, but I'm not going to string you along and say we still doing this. I did for a little, but then I said, this ain't right. I got to cut this. And that's the easiest way to break up with someone. Just move countries. So when I receive, it's the truth. Bye. I'm 22. You think I'm going to stick around and we going to make the, I'm not even, and I share that because oftentimes, especially young women, want to stay for the relationship. Not me, not me. I am gone. And this is because this life experience will add to me in so many ways. If I had the opposite story of, no, I'm 40 years old. If I had the opposite experience of, I'm going to stay for him, I wouldn't even be here talking to you, because that would have never happened to me. Thank you for the follow, Jacob Manu 966. Yeah, my goal was to explore myself through exploring the world. And it doesn't have to be uncomfortable and mean. What it is truly my passion to grow as a person, so I can be able to say, I want you forever. And I'm not saying that at 22. And I'm not saying that when there's people in London and Paris and all over the world, they're waiting to see me. Sorry, you're great, but you gotta go. Okay, you gotta go. Can I come? You can come visit me, but you ain't coming along, partner. Thank you, Tony. Uh, so I got my transfer and I transferred with a girlfriend of mine who I was in flight attendant training with. Now, again, this is 2008. So anything as far as iMessage, Google Maps, even just Wi-Fi and calling was not where we are today. All of that really came about in like 2010. Yeah, but also, Lee, if you're not taught or you don't even see the example of what loving yourself is, how are you supposed to love yourself? It's not a space of blame. I have compassion for that. I've shared my story of grief because my father died last month at the age of 76, and my parents have been I've only seen my parents and they set a great example. My father is very positive like me and would serve the community and talk to people and like went and built homes and built churches, all of that. So in the sense of loving yourself, you have to have that example. That's not just innate. And if you don't, then you feel your way back to it. I don't think it's impossible. I think there comes a point where it's understood, oh, I'm taking love of others as the love of myself. And there is truth in that statement of you can't love anyone else until you love yourself. I can't give to you to make me feel loved, make me feel seen, make me feel secure, make me feel heard. I have to do that for myself. And that's how I can be so confident and say, if a job offer comes to me, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to take it because I love myself and I value my time within this company or in building who I am. And it's not you, it is really me, and I'm leaving. So bye. We ain't even got to talk about this. So we put in our transfers and went through immediately. And I had to report to Heathrow in less than 2 weeks. So most flight attendants, let me say for me, I am okay with a quick move because being in aviation, that could happen. Like, hey, your transfer went through, you report in 2 weeks. Cool. Pack up everything, give a letter to wherever I'm living to get out my lease and move. It's not this well thought out in 6 months or a year, I'm going to move. Listen, if you give me 10 days, I'm good. I can move in a week. I can move countries in a week. And that's what we did. So I was based in DC. I fly to London Heathrow with the expectation of going to my orientation. However, in airports where our bases are for flight attendants, we have what's called a domicile. So the domicile would be our office. And in that office, you have our own company mailboxes. You have cubicles where we do briefings, which is before every flight, all the flight attendants meet the captain and we go over the flight time, any passengers of special interest, any passengers who are bringing oxygen, any passengers that are handicapped, anything like that. And then we assign our positions going in seniority. So for most flight attendants, the most senior position to work on the flight would be the first class galley because you're serving like 8 people and it's first class. I was junior. So I was working in in economy with all 300 passengers, which I don't mind. However, in our domicile, we also have resting in sleeping quarters. So we have these spaces with big recliner chairs and blankets and pillows, and flight attendants may come off a trip and take a nap and then drive home because, oh, okay, Lee, then you understand. And you got to travel light. So there's sleeping quarters, but that is in the domiciles in the US. What I didn't know was the domicile in the UK actually closed at a certain time. So my thought was I would fly in for the orientation, sleep, and that next morning go to orientation. So I fly into Heathrow. I go into the domicile with my friend, who's also, she was in training with me, and we get into the recliner. We pull up our blankets. Thank you for continuing to like the live, because it's gonna get, I'm ready to share these stories. We put on our blankets. We go to sleep, only to, what's up, Rashik? Only to be tapped on the shoulder as I'm knocked out. Like, hey, sorry. I said, sorry. What? Why are you waking me up? Are you sleeping? Am I sleeping? Yeah, yes, you see, the light was off. I was reclined in the chair. I had the blanket on. What you mean? Are you sleeping? Brits have this interesting way of questions, like, you're all right, which is our equivalent of how are you? Thank you, Rashik. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love Florida. I have some funny stories that I may share if I have the strength after this story. Are you sleeping? And I said, yes, I am. And she said, oh, the domicile closes at 4. I said, 4 o'clock? It's 3:40, so I have to leave? I'm afraid so. Okay, so why didn't you tell me that first? You woke me up to ask me if I'm sleeping. Okay, all right, okay. That was my first entry. Why did I give you a fright? How do I cheat on my girlfriend? You just cheat on her. What do you mean? Why are you asking me? Go do it. If you have to ask how to cheat on your girlfriend, you don't actually really want to cheat. Because as a cheater myself, I'm not asking anyone how I do. I just cheated on them. And it was always in a different country, so they couldn't find out. And it doesn't count. Once you cross country lines, not state lines, it doesn't count. So it's the truth. I learned a lot in that because learning is half the battle. So once I was up, rudely interrupted from my all-night flight into Heathrow, was sleeping for a few hours in the domicile, woken up by one of the coordinators who mans the station in the domicile, answers phones, says, Hope, your flight has been changed from gate 6 to the gate 10. They came to wake me up. Now I'm up. Now I've relocated to London. This is my first, let's say, 5 hours in London. I'd been to London several times before. Several times, like more than a dozen, right? But now I'm moving. I have 4 bags. My friend, I think she has about 3 or 4 bags. And I actually have my new flat, my place to stay, but I did not have a converter to plug my phone in. And granted, this is 2008. So even our batteries for our phones weren't, the batteries didn't last as long as, say, the iPhone now. So I didn't have a converter to plug my phone in. So my phone was already on very low battery. That was number 1. Number 2, I have a place to stay, but I don't actually know how to get there, and I don't actually have the address. Okay? And third, this is 2008. So Google Maps, we had like MapQuest, but again, this is in the UK. So it's time to figure it out. And I begrudgingly get up because I have an interesting relationship with the Brits, and this comes from my 7 years of living there. Um, I digress. I can talk about that later. I grabbed my 4 bags. Thank you. And no bed bugs is biting me, Lee. Come on, come on, come on. We ain't doing no bed bugs. Ain't nothing biting me unless I want you to. Silly. Thank you for the follow, Taz. So we grab our bags because we're both new flight attendants and we make our way into the arrivals hall in Heathrow. Now, 2008, both of our phones are low. We don't even have SIM cards. I had a boyfriend that was on, I was a fan of the French teams because there's something about the Frenchies. So he played for Paris Saint-Germain, and that was like my team. And then I would root for, oh, I used to have a big crush on Ashley Cole. So that was, was it Chelsea? I think I was a Chelsea fan. Whoever had the cute guys, I don't really care about soccer, football, but the guys are cute. So whatever cute guy that I gravitated to, I'm rooting for the team. That's just how I pick the team, okay? That's how I pick the team. And I would go to an Arsenal game. I'll go to a Manchester game. I'll go to any game. I will go. And I'll share the story about the time I was invited to go to his game and I missed my train. I think I missed my train because it was, anyway, let me finish this story about London. Grab the bags. We go into the arrivals hall. We both have maybe 12 to 15% on our phones. My phone as well as my now roommate, who's also a flight attendant. 2008, we don't have a SIM card. We actually don't have a way to really communicate because Wi-Fi in the airport wasn't a thing. So me and my friend, whose name is Brianna, were like, yo, we gotta make this work. Like, we will make this work. We don't know how, but we gotta make this work. So we're there in the arrivals hall in London Heathrow with our bags and our phones that are slowly dying. And we're just looking at people. Like, okay, maybe we can go up to someone and ask for help. And we were kind of shooting our shot with people who were coming in and out of the arrivals hall to pick up their friends or family or whoever they were going to pick up. Because our goal was to get to our flat. We didn't know how, and we didn't have the address. And really, we just needed a SIM card or a charger. So I would go up to someone and say, hey, do you have a charger? No. Okay. Hi, do you have a charger? Sorry, no. Okay. We're trying to get to our flat, but we don't know how to get to our flat. Could we use your mobile phone? No, sorry. Like it was that. So we're like, okay, we'll make this work. We'll make this work. So my friend sees this guy, cute guy, walk into the arrivals hall eating an ice cream. And my report day was June 1st, 2008. So it was warm-ish, but it's London. There is no summer. Let's remember this. London has no summer. London has sunny days, but it doesn't have a summer. It doesn't. These are all the things I've learned because I thought I had traveled. I'm from California. I had no idea that people actually live in places where there is no summer. Like it's gray and misty and cold. It's atrocious. It's terrible. It's terrible. However, this young man has ice cream. My friend sees him. She's like, I'm going to ask him where he got his ice cream. So my friend walks up to this guy. We don't know anyone. We had just relocated to London. And she says, oh, I see you have an ice cream. Where'd you get that ice cream? And she said, oh, at the shop, not far from here. She says, oh, okay. Do you have a charger I can use? He says, yeah. She said, oh, okay. Do you have a spare apartment we can use? He was like, yeah. She said, "Oh, okay. Me and my friend were based here. We just landed here and we need chargers because our phones are about to die. We still have our US SIM cards and we have a place to stay, but we can't contact the girl." He said, "I understand. I understand completely. Let me help you in this way. I'm actually here collecting my cousin, and if you give me a few hours, I'd be happy to get you some charges and a place to stay until you can contact your friend." She was like, "Okay, Hope, I got it, I got it, I got it." I said, "Okay. So what do you say?" She said, "Well, he said, meet me at Canary Wharf at 5 p.m. Now it's about 2:30 at this time because he said he had to collect his cousin. Yeah, how'd you know, Sam? How did you know? He was, of course. I love my Nigerians. I love my West Africans. He was Nigerian. But to collect, also, that only sounds Nigerians because Nigerians use the British English system and the British system for education. That's the whole of England. People would say collect. And most of Europe, you would use collect instead of pick up. I'm going to collect my car. You would use that instead of pick up my car. So he was Nigerian, and he collected his cousin and was going to meet us at Canary Wharf, which was great. However, I didn't even know what a Canary Wharf was. Like, I didn't even know how to get to Canary Wharf. What's up, Nan? Thank you for the follow. I didn't know what a Canary, like, what is, I was like, okay, yeah, we'll meet you at Canary Wharf. What is Canary Wharf? How do I get to Canary Wharf? What transit line? I didn't know any of that. What's up, Mag? So we say, okay, and we head off. Now, the great thing about public transport for the average human being, it's easy. It's easy to say, this is where I need to go. This is where I am. I'll connect the dots to get to my final location. That's how it started. Also, remember, we are relocating. All of our lives is with us. All of our lives is in the 4 bags that we each have because we are relocating here for a minimum of 4 years. Okay. So there's also us carrying 4 bags and we're on and off public transport. So anyone who has lived or visited London, thank you, Mag, for sharing the live, and let's get these likes up, well, it depends. It depends. Thank you, Jazzy Boo. Thank you. Thank you. I'm growing it out. I'm not going to cut it. And my family has bets on like, no, Hope is going to cut it. No, she says she's going to grow it out. I'm not. I'm not going to cut it. I'm not. I want my big hair. So we start taxi where? Where? We only know we're going to Canary Wharf. Now, London Heathrow is far outside of the city. It could take upwards of an hour to get into the city of London. So no, there was no taxi. And remember, this is 2008. So if you didn't have the cash, there was no Tap or Apple Pay. There's all of these things that were not there. And so we start on our journey. Now, with every train that I got on every tube, because we had to change a few times, a handle was breaking. I already have 4 big bags, and going up and down stairs because there's not so many lifts, and then go swimming. You should go swim. If you want to go swimming, go swim. Why are you telling me? I want to swim. I'll just go swim. So the slight frustration of flying in overnight, resting for a few hours, but really feeling somewhat icky because we had flown all night. So it was like, okay, I just want to shower. I kind of want to sit down. Now the handles to my bags are breaking. Once the doors were closing, as I was pulling my bag in and the handle breaks, and I'm like, okay, am I just going to let myself go on this train, or am I going to jump out and grab the bag and bring it with me? It was nuts, but I made it work. This is why I'm so optimistic, because you just got to make it work. It's not about the complaint, it's about getting it done. Add on to this that we are going in faith. We're going in faith that this gentleman is going to even meet us at Canary Wharf. So we finally get to Canary Wharf, and we are pulling our fully packed suitcases by the handles that are attached, not the extending handle, just like dragging it. Like this is my vertebrae were all knocked out of their proper position, because I'm like, it was ridiculous. This is why I travel light. So we finally get to Canary Wharf. I'm like, okay, we're here at Canary Wharf. Whew, we got through this. We finished it. Okay, we get out, and I'm like, where's this dude at? I don't know what his car looks like. He doesn't have a sign that says hope I'm here. Like, I don't know where this dude is at. All we can do is use our international minutes, because it's 2008. We have 6% left on our phones, and take the chance to call old boy to say, hey, are you here? Hey, actually, I wasn't like, hey, you here? No. There's a way you got to talk. Like, hey, we're here. Are you here? There's a big difference. You got to know how to talk to people. This is why I'm an exceptional communicator. You got to know. So I did the call. She was like, hope you call, because I'm good at that type of stuff. She was like, you call him to see if he's here. Thank you, Aphrodite of the universe, for the follow. I love that. Aphrodite, the goddess of love. So I call him like, hi, are you here? Sometimes I would break out into this accent, which is somewhat annoying, because you do speak how you're spoken to. So wherever I go, my accent does change. And if I'm like speaking French, my accent changes because I'm speaking a different language. And even if I'm communicating with someone in English who is a native French speaker, my accent slightly changes. But you won't hear me say, hey, can you make me some brekkie and hold the lift? That's not my accent. I just wouldn't walk around speaking like that. Although I have several friends who have relocated to the UK and now have complete British accents. Not me. So I call, hey, are you here? And he says, yeah, I'm here. And I said, okay, I'm unfamiliar with this square, so where are you? He was like, I'm in a black Range Rover in front of the Credit Suisse building, because Canary Wharf is the banking center of London, so it's all of these banks and international banks and high rises. And as I turn, I'm like, oh, he's here. Okay, he came. Let's get our sweaty selves with our phones that are about to die, with no SIM card. Like, we gonna make this work. Me and my friend Bree, we always make it work. We have great stories because there's a courage in us just to like make the story and make it work. Doesn't matter how. So we walk to the SUV and we throw our bags in and we're like, woof, okay, now we're going somewhere. And he says, right, so I picked up some SIM cards for you. I said, oh, okay, great. He got SIM cards for both of us. And I got you a charger, 2 chargers. I also got you some phone cards. I didn't know if you had a phone card or if you needed to re-up your phone. I said, oh, this is great. Okay, all right. This is looking great. This is looking good. I'm so excited about this. This is great. This guy was just eating ice cream, and now we're getting picked up. We have chargers. We have SIM cards. We have the ability to add credit to our phones because, again, this is 2008, and we have just flown in and relocated to our new base of London. But our phones weren't actually for use in abroad. There was a large charge. So Great. Things are looking great. He says, I'll take you to one of my properties and you can take a shower, sleep, and later we'll go for dinner. And I said, okay, this is fantastic. Me and Brianna are like, okay, this is great. This is great. This is great. So we drive over to one of the properties that he had, and it was a flat on the water near the Docklands in the UK. Yes, way before the iPhone. I mean, at this time, I think I had a BlackBerry. This is when everyone had Blackberries. You had a BlackBerry or you had a Razor. It was either or some people stood had their Treos or whatever. I don't know. Back in the day, you would know. If you know, you know. So he takes us to the property, beautiful flat, overlooking the water. He says, here's the keys. I'll see you guys in a few hours. Fantastic. So we're like, yay, we got a place to stay, and we can take a shower, and we can charge our phones. Like, this is amazing. And it all came from that sheer will of like, we got to find this place. We don't know how, but we'll make it happen. And after a few hours, we took a shower, we washed our clothes, we chilled, we charged our phones, and he came back later to collect us to go to dinner. So we went to dinner, and he brought one of his friends who liked me. I didn't like him just because he was kind of I don't even have the word. He just wasn't okay, yeah. That I understand it came out in '07, and I know by like 2010 for me, it more people had the iPhone. Yeah, the dude was just like, he was just there, but I'm gonna have my dinner, and he was a cool guy. Just wasn't on him like that. So we went to eat, and then we went out to the club. Now, his friend who was hitting on me and saying all of this stuff then introduces me to his girlfriend at the club. And I'm like, that's very strange that wasn't how you introduced yourself while we were at dinner. Your full girlfriend, but I see nothing, I say nothing because I'm not a man poacher and I definitely don't want your dude. So we go out, we come back, he drops us at the flat, we go to sleep. The next day, we kept that flat for maybe the first week. We were trying to actually live there. And he was like, okay, well, you still need to find your original flat. And we said, I know, we know. Just give us a few more days. And then he got to the point where he's like, now y'all are cutting into my money because this was only supposed to be for a day or two, but you tried to stretch it. So he had said, okay, in the next 48 hours, you have to find your flat or I won't be able to extend any more help. I said, okay, cool. Well, we have internet, so let me email my new future flatmate. Now, my flat in London, all of this just comes to me, and this is what I speak about. Let me turn off, hold on. Okay, had to turn off the gas on the fire. Now it's really going. When I transferred to London, I looked on the equivalent of Craigslist, which is Gumtree in the UK, and there's a lot of scams. Like they'll put the nice picture of a flat and it would be like $30 a month, and then I would email them and they would say, sure. And for us to hold this for you, we need £1,000 or something. It was a bunch of scams. So I don't, okay, Sam. So I had told my boyfriend at the time when I was in DC, hey, I'm transferring to London, haven't been able to find a place. He said, oh, well, my business partner's cousin is actually moving out the day you land. And I talked to them and they said you can move in and just discuss price when you get there. So when I'm sharing this to say, once you start making your way to something, the world and the universe and things just start opening up. I had no idea that that would happen. That the moment I decided to transfer and move to London, that I would just have a flat. Really, I wouldn't even have to look. It was a safe space. So I had emailed her. Thank you, Kenneth, for the follow. And she might have sent the address, but it was a little different because the postcode, which would be a zip code here, is individual per house. So if you have a, let's say, a postcode that's a zip code that's well known, 90210 Beverly Hills, that's for an area. A postcode in the UK is central to every home. So one home will have its own postcode. The next door will have its own postcode. It's not like the postcode encompasses the entire area. It is central for one home. And I didn't really understand that. And again, I'm like trying to Google, like, how do I get there? And we keep dragging this out. He ends up putting us in the Ibis, which is like a hotel. And the next day when we found our flat was actually like one road over from the hotel we were staying at. So in this story, the moral is people say what you want wants you, or what you seek is seeking you. The moment that we had to find a way to communicate and randomly asked this guy who was eating an ice cream cone, who brought us and got us the SIM cards, who so graciously let us stay in one of his properties and then put us up in a hotel, which was really not even a 10-minute walk from where I would live for the next 3 years. And I had no idea. And it took that tenacity of like, I'm going to just make this work. I'm not going back. I'm already here. So I'm going to make this work. And yeah, that's how I got to my flat in London, which was quite a story. And I remember getting there. And most places in London, you go upstairs, big, like steep flights of stairs. I lived on the high street. So the high street is equivalent to like our main street. The high street has all of your conveniences. So a high street in London would have a grocery store, a post where you can post mail, a bank, maybe a library, some shops, a clothing store, and your GP, which is your doctor, your general practitioner. Do I still? No, this was like so long ago. No. Who? Oh, you guys are, okay. You're talking Dorn 2016. All right, I'm saying out of that. So I lived above a Ladbrokes, and Ladbrokes is like a betting company. Betting companies are legal in the UK, where you can go, it's almost like a small casino, but you can go and place bets on horse races or fights or football games. And so I lived above the Ladbrokes. There was like a Pizza Hut to the right, and then maybe a chicken shop to the left. Like this was in East London in 2008. And so I get to the door, and none as of now. I would have to see how cute the players are, because I don't care about sports. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm a sportive person already, but I don't sit and watch sports. If you invite me, I will go, but there's nothing in me that supports any team in any way. It bores me. I don't know why that would be such an influence on my life. And for me, it's just a waste. If I want to do the sport, I'll do the sport. I'm not going to sit and watch. I'm not. Now, if you invite and there's nice seats, I'm going. Outside of that, I support me. I don't support any team. So I go up these steep stairs in my new flat, and there's one flight of stairs, and then the main level of the flat, which had like a family room, a kitchen, a sunroom, and then some other stairs that went up to where I lived, and there was 2 rooms and a bathroom. So I get to my room and it's like, yeah, just a room, no curtains. The carpet is really not carpet, it's like a thin lining on plyboard. It was hard and it was painful because those first nights, like that first day, there was no bed, there was nothing. And so we had to like roll up our jackets and use them as pillows. And okay, so what is Sam, what is the, do I still know the guy? No, no, no. In fact, I ended up cussing him out. And I've only done that, I think that was the only time in life I've done that. No, there was three times. I because there was three times in my life where I allowed myself to let anger overtake me. What did he do? What he did was he contacted us because we stayed in contact, and he said, "Hey, you want to go out, all three of us?" And I said, "Of course." And so we went out. We might have went to dinner. We went to some, it might have been a Nigerian club. We went out to some club. I think it was in South London. And my friend had to fly the next day. I think she had a check in of like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. And we went to a club and then we're dancing. I'm looking around for him and he's not there. I'm like, wait a minute, what the heck? Where's old boy? Where's old dude at? Where's this dude at? So I'm looking around like, hey, have you seen so and so? Where's so and so? He had left. So I'm calling him because we came here with him. I don't really know my way around. London is quite large. After you know the train line, you can get around. But this was within the first few weeks of me being there. And so when did I say that to him? I don't know if he called me or if he came back. I think he called, or I called him from a different number, someone else's phone, and he picked up. I was like, yo, you left? What kind of dude? And I just went off. So then some other guy was like, I see you're having some trouble. Where do you need to go? I said, well, we live together. Me and my girlfriend live together. She has to fly. We're both flight attendants. She has to leave like soon because it's almost 4 a.m. She has to be at Heathrow at 6. He said, okay, do this. Where do you live? Okay. He gave me a bunch of pounds to take a cab back. He said, get safe, get settled. Once you're settled, whenever you like, reach out to me. I'd like to call you. I was like, yo, that's smooth right there. Look at you saving some damsel in distress. You see, this is why I'm protected. You can leave, but somebody else said, you know what, you need some help. Let me make sure you get back safely. So we take a cab back to our flat. And this is my friend. We get into it sometimes because the guy had given money to me to take the cab. And I paid for the cab. I gave the cab driver the money, and he reached back to give me the change. As he reached back to give me my change, my friend puts her hand out and grabs the change. And I'm like, wait a minute. Give that back to me. The dude gave that to me. The change ain't yours. I got you back to the flat. Like, you're nuts. So we bicker like sisters. So she got to the flat, ran upstairs, took a quick shower, packed her bag, left. She was in and out within 20 minutes. And so that's what ended with that guy. And I don't think I ever saw him. It's possible we were at the similar events in London because most cities can be quite small in the fact that certain circles are going to be at specific places wherever you are. I've seen the same people in London, in Paris, in Germany, in New York, in LA, in those places, like south of France. There's kind of like a group of people. So that was that. I remember sleeping on the floor, which was not one of my proud moments when I first moved to London, in the room that I was sleeping in, that I shared with my other flatmates, and it was painful. It was so painful. My bones hurt. I was like, "Ah," I didn't even want to roll over. I don't know why the girl didn't just give us like a blanket to sleep on. We were like, it was like we go make it. We go make it. We go make it. We just had to make it. You're here. This is what you wanted. You are in London. Make it work. There was not even a curtain. And the way our room was situated, the sun came right at our eyes like, ah, turn it off, turn it off. But we had no curtains. I mean, this was our first day there. Thank you, Valentine 408, Leonte 408 for the follow. So that was hilarious. What's even worse is we were just sleeping on the floor because we had, I think, paid our flat's rent, and then already when I had moved to London, the currency was more than double. So £1 was equal to $2.08. And with my airline company, I was getting paid in US dollars. So let's just say a figurative, I'm not coming to Jesus. I don't know. No, and be saved. Win souls to Christ. How do you know? No. You're breaking up the flow here. I'm telling all these wonderful stories, and you're telling me to come to Jesus and be saved. Saved from what? How do you know I'm not saving you? Win souls to Christ. Thank you, Valentine. Yeah, I'm a storyteller. This is what I do. Repent from what? And believe the gospel. I am the gospel. I'm spreading the good word, the good news. That's what the gospel is. What's up, BLS? So I think that's intrusive, and I don't believe that that is helpful. You may need to ask Jesus if this is for you to do, to just come in people's lives. Is this how it's spread now, to come into people's lives and tell them to come to Jesus? Okay. Wonderful to read your comments as well, BLS. So we were sleeping on the floor in our room. Also, throughout Europe, specifically the UK, but throughout Europe, there's not closets. These structures are old, so most people have a wardrobe that you would buy. You can go to Argos, which is almost like a catalog that you can order a table, a wardrobe, chairs, a bed, all sorts of things. Yeah, I have this on my page. This is the Boya mic, which I love. I have it in my Amazon shop. I have it in my link in bio. You can go to Amazon and type in BOYA. I love it. I do love it. I always wear it, and I do all of my content with this, including my content on YouTube. And you, who are you to be the gospel? That doesn't make sense, Citizen Kane. And you, who are you to be the gospel? No, the gospel is the good word. That's what it means. So when I say I am the gospel, I'm just giving the good word. That's it. Yeah, it is. There's the ones that are the knockoffs, but this is the go-to, baby. Do the go-to, baby. So there is, I don't see either or. So when you ask the question, what do I like? I don't like, the U.S. isn't something that the experience within the U.S. is not something that I am continuing. However, because I've been so many places, and lived in different locations. It's not that straightforward of an answer because I don't ever see myself in one place for 365 days a year. It would have to be more concise in what do you feel is better for you as a woman, or for healthcare, or for safety. I don't believe the U.S. is safe. It's not until you leave that it is not the safest place, just simply because people have firearms here. And in the majority of the rest of the world, that's not something that is experienced. Also, there's many factors, but I'm leaving the U.S. again. My family is here. My parents are here. And that's important. Outside of that, there's really the quality of life for me. I prefer outside of the U.S. However, London is great. It just has really terrible weather. And when I say terrible, it's terrible. I had made a TikTok about when I had first moved. I moved in June. The first 2 weeks were summer, and then the sun went away for the rest of the year. And I was like, what is going on? Where's the sun? Why can't I sit outside in my bikini and tan? Ain't no sun. Thank you, T. Taylor. Ain't no sun. Ain't no sun. Like, it's gray. It looks the same from 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. And then it's just dark. And then you have that extra layer of just cold, misty, humid cold, like a humid cold, like a chill cold, and a mist, because it's always rainy and it's gray and dark. It's horrible. Hello, T. Taylor. It's horrible. Now, what I found was, to keep me sane, yeah, your whole thing would ache. That's why people walking around there looking like this, always drinking tea, because it's just cold and miserable, and outside smoking cigarettes. But I traveled a lot throughout. I'm from heaven. Can't you tell? Originally from heaven, and I fell into Central California. So I would travel throughout, I would go to West Africa a lot. I would go to warm places throughout Europe. I would just travel because London was gross. And I don't know, what is a stud, James Lowe? Please clarify that. If you ask me a question, I will not know what it means unless you clarify it. So, James Lowe, I would love for you to clarify your question. Please and thank you. So I became depressed. And also, I don't take anything personally. So anything that anyone says, especially on TikTok, I'm actually talking to my phone. I'm really talking to myself. So any comment, this stuff doesn't get to me. So I started feeling sad, and I went to Galim. Thank you for the follow. I went to my GP, which is my general practitioner, which was right on the corner from my flat. So if I had a doctor's appointment at 9, I would leave at 9 and I would get there at 9. Like, it was 10 steps away from my flat. And I had shared with the GP, I'm feeling low and sad. I'm used to seeing the sun. I like to be outside. I like to run outside, and I can't, because I don't know why I thought London was this spectacular city with sun, but all there is rain and gray and mist and cold. And so she wrote me out, scheduled me an appointment with the therapist at my GP, at my general practitioner. Because I think you can do this here in the US, but in the UK, the therapist will actually write you a gym membership where you can have a complimentary gym membership to help aid your well-being. And that's what I wanted. Oh yeah, there's always some place other to explore. I've only been to 60 countries. There's what, 190 something. I mean, I haven't even seen half. Um, well, there is light therapy, and I had those light bulbs, but it's like extreme. So I went to the therapist and I told her, listen, I'm used to being outside. I'm running every day and I've just transferred here and it's challenging. And she said, the therapist, have you, have you tried to make friends? Have I tried to make friends? Have you talked to me? I will talk to every friends will not prevent friends won't stop the feeling of not seeing the sun. And I understand that could come from a pure place, but yes, I've tried to yes, and I have friends. I do. I need something more. I need the sun. That's the friend I'm looking for. The sun, which I no longer have. She says, okay, let's have another session. I never meet a stranger, just like my dad. I do enjoy people and I love to talk. So I had like 3 sessions, and by the third, I did not have any severe mental ailments that would allow me to continue seeing her as a therapist. Some, yeah, and California is a huge state. So I grew up in the Central Valley. Central Valley, it's farm town. It's completely different from up north, which would be like Redding, almost going towards Oregon, or down south, which would be San Diego. California, you can have anything. You can have beach, you can have country, you can have agriculture, you can have city, you can, but it is very diverse, as is all of the US. I have to say, I traveled a lot with my family because my father loved the outdoors. And the US is diverse in its climates and its flora fauna and just the pure geographical space. If you're in Europe, it kind of all looks the same. Compared to the US, where you could have a Miami in this beautiful beach town, or Hawaii, or you could have New Hampshire, or you can have Wyoming, or you can have New York, or you can have Utah, or you can have Texas, or you can have Washington State. The US in itself is very varied in land. And that's what's unique. There's a lot of things that I appreciate about the US, and I'm lucky to have seen most of that even prior to my career as a flight attendant. My father thought it was important to see the world, just to expand, just to plant that seed, to see, wow, there's a lot out there and there's more for you to learn. Specifically with me living in Europe, because I also lived in Paris, just a different social structure, a social structure that may be based on well-being more than money. I am a strong believer in humans just having basic, like, healthcare, not you have to pay and work and do all of that. Well, that doesn't create a strong society. If people are not well in their bodies, if people are not healthy, and there is a bit of a fear to be healthy or a fear to go to the doctor because of the cost, or I can't even get treatment because I don't have that. That is not, this is the only place where that's the norm. You have to understand, everyone outside of the US does not have that. They don't even have to think about that. Of course, I'm going to the doctor. It's a part of my basic necessities as a human. Same thing with school. If you speak to anyone outside of the US, no one has $2, $3, $400,000 worth of student loans. And it's simply because everything is for profit. And what that means is if you go to a hospital in the UK, that hospital isn't making a profit. Whereas a hospital here is someone's making a profit. If it's a college here, somewhat people are making a profit. Where compared to specifically Europe, no one's actually profiting money. No one is profiting money from the school athletics. They're not making money. That's purely an American thing. And it's very hard to separate the two unless you're immersed in a place where that's the reality. Even talking about reproductive health, that's not something that's really discussed in the news abroad. They almost look at it like, why do you guys talk about like reproductive rights and things of that's like a personal choice. And safety. Just the acceptance of violence that occurs in this country. This again is central to places, but it's different in other spaces. Well, we do have with food. It's several things. Again, I'm from the Central Valley of California, which is farm town. It grows most of the nation's fruits and vegetables, as well as a lot of the world's exports of apricots and cotton and onions and garlic and peanuts and grapes, you name it. I'll go out on a ledge and say, I don't think most Americans know what good food is. It's not a part of our culture in comparison to somewhere like France, where children know about food. It's taught about in school. It's taught how to fillet a fish and how to cook it and different fishes and the nutrition of it and how to make a béarnaise sauce or things of this nature. That's not taught here. You just go to Carl's Jr. and get a burger. So even the belief and the expectation of what food is different because it's woven into the culture. But that's just how I see it. I say this is a truth. It's not the truth. It's a truth in the truths of worlds. And yeah, that was my story with the therapist in the UK. I prefer, I like my dating outside of the US just because dating anywhere is different. Dating everywhere in the world is different. That expectation of seeing, yeah, Americans are weird. Do not align me with anything American. Like Americans are weird. Americans are strange to me. It's very strange. And if I don't often share these things because I believe everyone has their perspective of I am American. I'm different though. Only different because I've spent more time as in my adult life outside of the U.S. than I have actually living here. Uh, yeah, the world is a big place. Um, Everything in the U.S. is a lie. What does that even mean? I don't understand what that means. Tell me what that means. Um, Oh, okay, Dallas. Okay, okay. Yeah, London, we have an interesting relationship. However, London always has a key to my heart because I say I gained my PhD in life, womanhood in London because I was there for really my entire 20s. Um, okay. And again, I love, yeah, very. Um, like Hawaii, I love, I just love it. There's warm places that I love through collecting data, through traveling. I've seen, like, I really do. This is nice and this is cute. I'm at my parents' home. If I never made a fire again in my life, I would be content. I would be content. Oh, that's so gross. My boyfriend at the time would have his beans on toast, his hind beans on toast. Um, I don't know what that means, granary. London, it's not really an English city anymore. What does that mean? Please specify. Um, no. Why are you telling me to stay away? You stay away. You're not even there. You couldn't even be in Hawaii. You couldn't. Me too. I love that. Um, Here's the other thing. If you are making these comments, but you are not changing your location, I don't know how that makes sense. I don't know how that makes sense. But that wouldn't even be the aloha spirit to tell someone to stay away after the 4 years that I've lived in Hawaii. And I love the Caribbean. I love the Caribbean. So there's that. Okay, I see that. Yeah, and it is very international. You know what I really enjoyed was Manchester. I loved Manchester. I also loved the the Lake District up north. I do love, yeah, of course. That's what I love about South Florida because you have a lot of Caribbean, South American influence. Yeah, I love Jamaica too. I have some good stories about Jamaica. Me and my sister have been a few times, and I've been a few times. Yeah, I like the smaller cities, but that's for most of Europe. You go to the major cities because it's the major city, but it's like saying New York is the epitome of the US. It's not. It's a major city. If you go anywhere outside of New York City in New York State, that feels a little bit different. And oh, okay. Yeah, we'll do it. Do it, do it, do it. Do it, do it, do it. I moved to Hawaii and retired to bring in a new life. So I'm all for that. And I'm all for just going wherever you want to go. But if you're not actually going, if you actually haven't been there and you're just saying nonsense, then you don't matter. You don't matter, to me at least. So, with the UK, I do appreciate it. Thank you, Stephen is awesome for the follow. Now, France has a special place in my heart for numerous reasons. And also, okay, are you asking or are you telling John Napoleon? Uh, Now, what was I going to say? Because I had something else I was going to talk about. Hmm. And also, let me add this. Oh, okay. So that is great. That is fantastic. Um, my experience with travel is a little bit different because I was in that industry. So it's not that I took it for granted. I never did. It just became so easy to navigate the world that the lines become blurred because I could just really pick up and say, hey, I want a margarita pizza. Will you meet me in Milan today? Or let's go to Naples. I'll meet you in Naples today. I'll take the flight. Let's meet there at 3 and go and have bruschetta and shop and a coffee and pizza and fly back to London. That's the life I lived. And just going and spending time throughout Europe just on a whim, throughout the world. And it starts to become movie like because it's almost maybe how a celebrity would live, but it's unreal. It's amazing. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. And I shared this in my live earlier when I got to the point that I knew I wanted something different. And yes, I've always loved flying. I had an emergency landing 14 years into me flying, and that shifted me into a different space because I was able to see that life goes. You don't know when it's going to go. But I sat in that space of, I can continue to see the world, but Hope, you've crossed off all these things on your list. I had a list and I crossed off living in London. I crossed off living in Paris. I crossed off learning the languages. I've crossed off going to different festivals or museums or the New York City Marathon or so many things, taking people with me to these places that they never even known existed. What gives your life meaning? Does that give yourself? No, I don't watch TV. I don't have a TV. I haven't seen any of that. Again, 15 years in the aviation industry. I've seen, done, felt it all. And after my own experience on a flight with a left engine that went out, I don't need to see anything. I've experienced it and I have a TED Talk because of it. You can go to my link in bio or just go to YouTube. And that's what my TED Talk was based off of. My TED Talk was based off of that emergency landing and how that will make you see, okay, this is fun, but then what? I've done everything. I've done everything. Does this bring you meaning? Is this meaningful and purposeful? Is this your life's goal to just continue exploring? Is there a finish line? Do you feel that there's more? And yeah, I stopped watching TV once I moved out of my parents' house. I mean, that was quite a while ago in retirement. When I retired, I haven't had a TV since for almost 20 years, 18 years. Are you writing a book? Stephen is awesome. Is that what, are you asking or are you telling? I'm interested. So in that moment, because I've shared that my father just passed away, not even 2 weeks ago. Ooh, Stephen, would you want a book? Would you want a book? Maybe you would see a book. I had to truly accept that for me, okay, thank you, Dallas. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, but it's not even I'm going to jump to this. I appreciate all of this feedback when I share about my father dying. And I always say, now I say this, I am a perpetual optimist. And I got my speaking from my father. He spoke, he was an orator, he would just talk to everybody like me, he would help people out, he was that good guy. And I'm here because of him. I am a part of his legacy. I am representing him. I've learned so much from him. So for me, it's not about the loss, it's what I've gained. It's the strength and the beauty and the resilience and the lessons. It's all of that. Sure, you miss that physical form, but I always feel that presence and I don't feel disconnected. And it's also, I remember while he was in the hospital, he had I had accepted his transition, and I had really said, he's accomplished everything he was set out to do for during these 76 years, and I accept that. It was never a space of you're going to have to start contacting pray to Jesus and ask if it's appropriate to solicit via TikTok. I don't know if Jesus is aware that this is happening or if it's something that he approves of. So I never said I don't want my father to die. I don't want to think about this. This will happen and I'm okay. He's set us up. Like I'm so fulfilled in what I learned that it's okay. It's okay. And I've seen that even in the arrangements, because I'm one of 5 girls, and me and my sisters all have gotten together, and my father had everything complete. We actually, as a family, this is showing you the man that he was. We already knew what he wanted at end of life. So there was never any fighting, or there was never an issue, or we didn't have to do a car wash. We didn't have to do a GoFundMe. Everything was taken care of. It was discussed years ago. And so when it happened, yes, it's sad and uncomfortable, but there's so much ease when things have been prepared. And that's how I see it with myself as his child. I feel ease because I'm okay. I'm okay. He's given me everything that I can take on this new chapter, and I'm okay. I'm in touch and I have the tools. I always share that I have all the tools. I've done therapy. Yeah, my dad was 76. I journal. I know how to release what I feel. So even in this time, it's not heavy 24 hours a day. There are times where I will have a release of tears and I'll cry. And yeah, he grew me. I can journal and get my feelings out and continue on, because grief goes in waves, it goes in stages. I never say, oh, it's going bad today. No, I just feel it. And thank you, BLS. So I can still smile. I have joy. This isn't a time of complete sadness. There is sadness, of course. I'm the daddy's girl. As I was looking through the photo booth books, most of my pictures with my dad, I'm like, let me see if I can find one. I'm like on his shoulders, or we would fish a lot, so I would be right next to him because we all love my father. My mom is taking it in the moment. We're all here to support. And I have to say that was the space I grew in, because I still feel like I'm the child. But in this time, I'm more of that support, because I have one sister that's younger than me. I'm 40. All of my sisters are older. And how we've surrounded my mom in love and support, and just listening and making sure a lot of people have delivered food, which is great. Flowers are nice. My dad didn't even like flowers, but just saying, hey, if you want to order from a restaurant, order, we'll send it to the house. That's really helpful, because in times of grief, I'm only into like the second week. This is still new. And I've uploaded a video onto my YouTube, which is Hope is Speaking, about the 5 things I have learned. Adopt you in this time of grief. And one of those things is just simply eating, because there was the first few days I didn't eat, and I'm already slim. I'm already very small. And so when I don't eat, like, all of my bones bulge out. Yeah, my father's always with me. He's always okay. So I'm going to show you something. So this is me and my dad. I was always right by my dad. This is me and my dad. Let's see. Can you see it? I think we were at Disneyland. I was always like, my dad could do no wrong. Really, he could do no wrong. But as I'm collecting these pictures, a lot of the pictures, I'm like, I would love to sit on him when we went to the uh, amusement parks and looking at all of the photos of when we went to Vancouver, when we were in DC, when we went to Chicago, when we went to Disneyland, Six Flags, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios, all of these things. There's just a lot of beautiful memories. Okay, so this is, I was like 13, but this is me and all of my sisters on the beach in Maui. This is when I fell in love with Maui. And then, like 20 years later, I'm 20, yeah, a little over 20 years later, I moved to Maui. And I told my dad, I said, thank you. Because I get it. It's not always, it's about planting the seed. The fact that we were there as a family and I saw the beauty of Maui and explored and all of this, just that sight, I took that with me. And exactly, Stephen. And then when I moved to Maui and my nieces were able to see the same things that I saw 20, 30 years before, it's about planting that seed. So it's all of that. It's not one or the other. And so when I look at these pictures, yeah, I love my father. I do, I do, I do. It it these things change in the moment with grief, and sometimes I'm like, is this real? Like it went from I turned 40 and then my father died, and it's a interesting set of circumstances, and I'm growing in it. It's not all bad. There's something for me to learn, and I'm excited to say that I know it's not going to pop off. There's the screen. And if there is, just call 911. That's the beauty of the well lived life. When someone can say, of course I miss you, and it's okay. You gave me everything. I am strong and intelligent and resilient and beautiful and compassionate and honest in what I am because of you. You've given me all the gifts that I need. And I will continue to grow in that. Because I am grateful for my family. I have a great family. Now they annoy me at times, but I'm 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 just enamored. I'm looking at these pictures now, and it's like smiles. Lots of smiles, lots of travels, lots of just great moments. Now it's time to journal because uh, it's just surreal. I know it's real, and as I've shared with the death of my father, it's still new. It's still new. So I'm just growing in what this is teaching me. Stephen, what would you want to? The thing is, I have so many topics to write about. What would you want to hear? Would you want to hear about the travels, my love life through the travels, how I grew, what taught me? Like, because I have some ideas, and this is something, maybe this is. I, I don't speak on anything until things are completed. So if there was that, you would not hear about it until like publication. Yeah, November 26th. Filbert Ampson. November 26th. I'm a Sag. Why? Are you a Sag? Are you? Are you? Are you? Uh, this has been good. This has been really good. Yeah, now it's time to journal because I'm having some stories that feel really good to me about my dad. So when they come up, I just write them out. And I'm inspired because it doesn't matter. I'm still that kid. I always still feel like this little one just sitting by my dad. That's how I always feel. That is always my expression and feeling, like smiling right next to my dad. That's it. Okay. All right, Stephen. Pre-order, pre-order, pre-order. You're with pleasure, with pleasure, with pleasure. I do have an adventurous life. This is why I can't be around boring people, because after being ran over and kicked out, deported from countries and banned from entering countries, I've lived a really colorful life. And I did it with the expectation of this is going to be a great book. Really, I've lived my life with the expectation of hope this will be great in the book. Like, this is unbelievable, and it actually happened. So thank you, Stephen, and just pay attention. Pay attention. I Okay, you'll be on that pre-order. Okay, well, first go watch my TED Talk because you will learn a lot from that. That was something that there was a series of things within the past 90 days that just showed me I'm on the path, and my TED Talk in Germany was one of them. Even the fact that I gave it in Germany. Exactly, I did it my way. I'm inspired because my father, I'm going to share this and then I'm going to go. So, my dad actually was a pastor of a church, and I saw this picture that's him and my mom, that's me. See, oh, they're so in love, they're so in love. But this picture, my niece was looking at this picture and she said, Hope, that looks like the same exact pose you gave on the TED stage when you were speaking. So this is why Joy for Life, you know I will watch this space. This is why there's the ease of I'm okay with you going to the other side, because there's things that I do that he is like playing out through me, and it's inspiring and it's beautiful. Thank you, Jess. Kesnia. Is it Kesnia? Ksenia? Ksenia. Ksenia. That's like a Russian name, correct? I think it's of Eastern European origin, because I've heard it before, and I've heard it before, and I believe it's of Russian origin. Just is if that's true. What's up, Paper Chaser? Yes, you are hopeful. You are a hopeful. So I'm inspired, and even when I came on tonight, it was a different type of live. I thought when I got into my speaking space, it was going to be very cookie cutter. Now I understand the way I share stories, the way I story tell, how it's molded together, and my experiences is why I speak. And it's to encourage people and to take your mind off of what you were worried about and to say, okay. Thank you for sharing the live, BLS. And I will continue, because there was right when my father passed, I was like, I'm giving up this goal of speaking. Why? Now my dad's gone. Like, why? And I sat in that discomfort. I thought so. I sat in that discomfort and said, first of all, when you start off to do something, you can't turn around and just stop. And I remember this with my dad, like we would hike and things like this, and you keep going. The point is just to go one more day. Not to say I can go 10 more years, 10 more months, 10 more days, one more step, one more day, one more day, just one more day of showing up, because one of those days will be that day. Now, it's always happening. And this is with a goal or a dream or changing yourself. At times, the thought is, it'll just happen like this one day. It's always happening. And then one day, all the pieces just mold together and it blossoms into how you see it. But that belief of it just happens, it's always happening in small incremental steps. Yes, it's philosophical. And thank you, Filbert. And how I joke about someone earlier said, I want to cheat on my girlfriend. I said, well, you should cheat. There's something for you to learn from it. I can say that because that was me. And I can say that because if it's across country lines, it doesn't matter. But I learned from that and I would not operate in that way anymore. But at that time, yeah, boyfriend in the US, I'm going with cute soccer player here in Paris. I'm not even thinking twice about it. I'm going with him. We're going out to dinner. You can be in the US, I'm going out with him. Okay? That's it. I would not operate that way now. But I had to learn that from that. And in that way, I share that our life is our lesson. I am free. Our life is our lesson. There's something in our life in every moment that is teaching us. Now, us being open to it, us being aware of it, us being open to the lesson that life is teaching us is something else. But it's there to teach you something. And I'm here to learn, honey. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn. I'm not here to play with people. I'm here to learn. And I like to learn and I like the lesson. And my father was very positive. And he would smile and say, it always works out. The point is to believe that it does and be in that state of positivity and understand maybe you don't see how it will work out. And that's the beauty of it because it will. It's not for you to know. It's for you to truly believe like, this is going to work out. Like, I don't know. I mean, and I don't even say I don't know anymore. I say I'm open to the possibilities. I've stopped saying I don't know. Yes, Stephen, but when you say we, that means you and me. If you say I, that means you. I don't worry about nothing. About nothing. Man, all the stuff that is like it all works out. I've put out enough good, it'll work out. I'll just watch it work. And I know I'm surrounded by goodness and I expect goodness and that is it. Okay? I have no control over things outside of my voice, my movements, my thoughts, and even that can be up for discussion. But I don't try to control things. I am actually very lax, and that comes from flying because you can't control anything when you're a flight attendant, especially in winter. And that understanding of I don't have control over this makes life easy. I'm not going to tell you you shouldn't wear brown shoes every day. I don't know what you should do. In fact, I'm not even looking at what you should do. If you ask me, I will check with myself and see if I have the space to aid you in some way. But outside of that, I see nothing, I say nothing. Hope is for hope, okay? I'm always there to help, but I'm not giving unsolicited advice. Yeah, mix up your shoes, do what you want. Do what you want. These are a few of the stories that you may hear. And it all comes down to like living. I want to live. I want to live. Thank you, Diane. I think I've seen you in my life before. Thank you, Diane. I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to grow it out. All right, Stephen, there we go with we. I don't worry about what others think of me. I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. Thank you, Aquarius Andrews. I ain't worried about, why am I worried about you? You sitting up here eating, as I say, Frito boats. People will just have their opinions. That's expected. So what? Whatever opinion you have on me is okay for me. That is what makes rational since in your brain from the moment you were born to this moment. So what? It doesn't benefit me or take away from me. It has no really jurisdiction on my life in any way. So in that way, I don't care. I dress fly. I'm well spoken. I'm beautiful. I love to hike. I drink water. I have a lovely mother. I made some delicious nachos and pico de gallo and made some chips. I have all of these things within myself that serves me. And I also come from a big family. So I'm not worried about nobody. Grow up in a large family. I ain't worried about, they can go on somewhere. People go, even my family now, I love them, but they can go somewhere. I love you in my way. And that's a beautiful lesson too. Because people can't drive you crazy if you don't give them the keys. And honey, I ain't giving no keys for you to drive me crazy, okay? You see this moisturized skin? It's going to stay that way because I don't let mofos drive me crazy. Ain't no craziness. No dude's gonna drive me crazy. No family member's gonna drive me crazy. No political stance is gonna. Man, no, forget that. Yeah, I'm so glad I am praying because you were in my life, I think, yesterday when I was outside in the backyard. And anyone who doesn't, exactly, that's why you've been, listen, this may be something bigger. People are drawn to my lives and then they see, oh, this person's on what I'm on. There's a reason for that. And that's why I speak. And if you miss my lives, someone had said they put a notification. You could put a notification because I don't have a set time. But if you miss my lives, I upload all of my lives. Thank you, Sandy, for the roses onto my YouTube channel, which is Hope is Speaking, so you can watch all of my lives. Thank you for all of the roses. That is such an incredible gift. And thank you for the yellow hearts. You know, I love a yellow heart. Almost matches the color of my head. You can watch all of my lives on my YouTube as well as the other content that I put. And I have affirmations and meditations and things of this nature. And I post there daily too. Or I try to, at least 5 days a week I post. Thank you for the 104 roses. I really appreciate that, Sandy. So that's what I do. And I just am here to live and live fully. I ain't got time for no nonsense. If you want to come and tell me some sad story, I'm probably going to cut you off. Okay? Because ain't no sad stories over here. All of us have these stories. However, let's add to our lives. I'm not repeating stuff I don't want in my life. Okay? I don't even repeat stories that I don't want to have. My words are so powerful. There's so much that I would never think, let alone say, because I don't want it to show up in my reality. The fact that I have these stories and traveled the world and did all of these things from the simple thought of, I can do it and I visualize it and I see it. And my father would say, to live life and live it more abundantly, but it comes from your words. I'm never going to limit myself. Yeah, Mag, did you see I Am Afraid? You guys haven't been in the same live of mine in a minute. And these are like OG hopefuls. And hopefuls we're positive. We're here to laugh and share and unite. This is like a good feeling collective. And that's the exact tribe that I sought to call upon. And Nella Bella, thank you for the follow. I say that when people would say, I hope you're moving to Hawaii, you're moving to London, you're moving. Do you know people? No, purposely. And I don't want to know you if you asking me this. And second of all, you find your tribe. Everywhere I've gone, I found my tribe. I talk to everyone, but it's not difficult for me. It really isn't. And furthermore, unless you've done it once, you won't understand. But there are individuals who have never had that experience. So I understand how daunting this could be. What do you mean? What do you mean, Mag? Wait a minute. Also, there's a few admirers. No one has done a grand gesture, because I always say, I won't notice you unless you give, oh, I have the sniffles, a grand gesture, right? And what's the biggest grand gesture? I remember probably, oh, there was several years where I love Dakar, Senegal, and especially living in London, it's always like beautiful and sunny, howdy, and delicious food and delicious textiles and the culture and the smell of the air and just the radiance of the country and the city. So I would go for my birthday and usually stay for the week. And I love the French speaking West African countries. I like the continent of Africa, and I enjoy everywhere. However, I enjoy my West African countries. So maybe the gesture of like flying me there, the whole spa day and all of that. I don't know. That's kind of a gesture. Then there was another gesture like that when I was proposed to, but I said no because it didn't feel right. In this beautiful mansion, and I don't know. It just was like, this is all great. The scene is great, but no, no, I'm not going to marry you. What's another grand gesture? Oh, that was cute when someone, instead of, people will walk past with like selling roses, and he bought all of the roses from the person and was like, here. That was kind of cool. Uh, there's probably other things, but a grand gesture. It would have to be like big enough for me to see. If I've gifted, as I said, I gifted myself the TED Talk, which was really fun. Before I gave myself, before I did my TED Talk, I said, I will gift myself my TED Talk for my birthday next year. And I did. Not with the hopes that I will, knowing my name is already Hope. I already hope for great things. I had to step into a space like my sister Faith, because here's the other thing. You'll probably understand my parents a little bit more when you understand that, yes, my name is Hope. I have a sister named Faith, and I have a sister named Charity. So my parents kind of knew what they wanted to put into the world. And I think that was my father. I don't know. I was just given this name. I didn't have any part of it. But that belief in something more from you. And I give myself my cosign. I have the courage to do it. And every time I venture out and say I can do it, I will do it. That's it. I don't care what is in between me doing it and it being completed. Thank you, Hazel, with the blue butterfly for the follow. That's it. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying, why don't I ever get it? It never comes to me. No, you have to be gritty at times. You have to be relentless. And I heard a saying that says, life is a fight for territory. You won't fight for everything, but everything you have will be a fight. And I will graciously, because I don't fight, I will graciously call in only what I want. This, not just my emergency landing, but I've had real experiences that have taught me about myself and my strength and my resilience and the beauty that each of us has. This isn't just for me. We all possess this. We have to be aware that we do, and maybe that awareness comes from reflecting back on what you have grown through, what you have accomplished, what you have turned your life into from where you were. We have these stories, and I believe it's helpful and beneficial for us to remind ourselves of our power and our strength. Thank you, Philbert Ampson, for the share. As human beings, we are limitless if you believe it. If you don't, that's okay too. I wouldn't tell myself anything when I was younger because I did everything right. I didn't not do anything. Like, man, I left school, I left college, I started. I always knew I could do these things. So there's nothing I would tell. I was already living. I relocated across the country by 22. I was living in the UK by 24. Um, I didn't. My younger self, like, here's my story. I was always the smartest in the class. The state of California, I had really high test scores. But my father would always say the first school is here at home. So schooling I was always good at because I know how to make decisions. I like problem solving. I enjoy the lesson of learning. I enjoy that. School has always been easy. That's why I would ditch class. I have that story too. I'm really a rebel. I'm really a rebel. In high school, I was in an advanced math, engineering, science um, program from 7th to 12th grade, all AP. I didn't even walk with my class because I was with the cool kids and we would ditch and we would go swimming in someone's pool in the middle of the day. And it wasn't because I I didn't not pass my classes because I don't have the knowledge. It was like, I'd rather socialize and I'll be okay. And there's also that moment of like disappointment. And my first disappointment was not walking with my class after being one of the smartest kids for my entire life. Like I went to, it was one of the top 100 schools in the nation. Um, and that difficulty, because for me it was like, I'll life is always going to be okay, but this is a real disappointment. Everybody, like, how could Hope, she is so smart, why isn't she walking with her class? And it's not because of my lack of knowledge, it was just because, like, I was a kid who just wanted to socialize and be with my friends. But then that reality of, thank you, Filbert. My parents, I remember, and I've shared this story. This was my first disappointment that changed my life. When I was told that I wouldn't be able to walk with my class, I had to go to night school, which the whole thing was so probably depressing for me that I was like, I'll figure it out. Like, this is a disappointment. And I remember the day of graduation, the school was going to call to say if I could walk or if I couldn't. And they called and they said I couldn't. And I went to my room and I remember saying, this is so terrible. I should just take my life. I should just end it. This is so embarrassing. People know me as being the ASB class president, of being in all of these social activities, of being the smart person. I'm not even walking with my class. I will take this bottle of Aleve and just end it. I could just end my life. And I remember vividly standing in my room with the bottle of pills in my hand, just staring like I could. This is so embarrassing. All of these people I went to school with, and then I'm not even at the graduation. And I stood there and then thought, no, no, I am going to live the best life. Why the heck do I think this is the end for me? As bright as nah, man, nah, Hope, you'll get over it. And I did. I think I went to a party that night. So that was one of my first disappointments that, as you said, was a setup for an appointment. That disappointment, once I saw, that's not the end of my life. That may be a block, that may be a reflection point, that may be a standpoint of how I can change, but this doesn't mean I have to end this experience. And that's when I said, I'm going to live the best life. I am going for this. And yeah, sitting with that disappointment with my parents, because really I was a smart kid. I still am. And as my father would say, Hope has it. She has the brain. It's not the school. It's not anything outside of her. Whatever school she goes to, whatever knowledge she absorbs, she will make the best of it because she actually has that operating system. But let's get that clear understanding that far from it. Valedictorian, actually, valedictorians in the long term in life have been less successful than C students. I believe it's the C students that have the most financial success or create things that change life for others. It's usually like your average student. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm living. I'm living. And then I went out to a party, and then I started. It was like then life went on, and that's when I was working at my dad's office, and then I was a makeup artist. I was an insurance adjuster. I had a few things before I went into flying, but I was always reading and gaining knowledge and speaking to people in other languages or things of this nature. So, do I have a lot of regrets? No. I've I don't I there's nothing I regret because I really just go. I don't really think to, yeah, let me do it. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. A regret? No. My regret is probably breaking up with people earlier. I probably should have broken up with a lot of my boyfriends earlier, but I don't even sit in that space of what are the things that I wish I would have done. That takes too much energy of what I'm doing. You understand me? I'm not looking back. I live fully. I live now. Do you understand? Over 60 countries traveled, not just one visit, several, hundreds, thousands, different places I've lived, languages, men in other countries, exploring myself, breaking societal patterns that I thought were me, letting go of shame and anger and guilt. Nah, man, I live a good life, cutting off my hair, going skinny dipping, kissing the right guys, wearing the right lip glosses, being at the best parties, having the best dresses. These are the things that are real. I'm not thinking about regret. If I thought about regret, that takes energy away from my future self. My future self. If I'm sitting in that space of what I would have done and what I should have done and why they didn't like me, I'm especially after this, life is here to be lived. I'm doing. If I want to do it, I do it. Then there's not a regret. I don't really sit in that space. And that's because I listen to myself. I say my parents would always, yeah, it's oppressing. What am I going to regret? The only thing I really regret is not breaking up with the guys earlier that I was with. and but even in that, I learned something. Um, and I'm always moving towards something. There's something that I'm doing. And I understand when a lesson is learned. I believe that movement is encouraging. I believe sometimes you just have to shift where you are, meaning you have to shift your thought pattern, you have to shift your habits. You probably even have to shift where you live. I'm a big believer in change. And change often means you got to leave this space. I got to leave this space. Oh, that's great, Sandy. I'm glad I'm helping you because the point is to be able to help yourself. There's others that will aid, but you are your hero. I am my hero. I remember, I think it was the day after my dad died because that first day, it was just a numbness. It was like, whoa, this is, yeah, ripple joining a wave. That's cool. Yeah, exactly. I've been figured, man, I'm out of here. Uh, The moment I left the house, I was like, I'm here to learn life. Thank you. The second day, I was feeling whatever I was feeling, and I was thinking, man, I feel so alone now. It is me. And within a few moments, it was like, there's a beauty in that. There is a beauty in it is you. And I say that because that's in my TED Talk. Go watch my TED Talk on YouTube or my link in bio. Yes, my father is now in a different form. And it is you. You're not alone. You can be your comfort. You can be your wisdom. You can be your strength. You can be your softness. You can be your weakness, but it's you and it's okay. Being alone isn't bad. I saw something on here that said most leaders spend a lot of time alone. And my time flying, I was always alone. I'm not going to hang out with them whack flight attendants. They want to go to nasty restaurants with free wine. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with up and moving to a different space. I'm comfortable with just being in spaces with myself, not with the comfort of anyone else. I'm really comfortable with myself and within my realm. And within that, there's nothing I can't do. And I truly believe this is for every human being. If you choose to apply it, and if it doesn't resonate, sure, it doesn't resonate. I just believe in the beauty of the uniqueness of each and every one of us. And yay, Hazel, yay! I have a bunch. I have a bunch of passports. I have a bunch just because they would fill up a lot as a flight attendant. Yes, well, Stephen is awesome. I love that name because I'm awesome too. I will update you. I don't speak about anything till it's complete. But that was a big accomplishment for me, especially in last year. Um, uh, Thank you, Filbert, because I just be a talking. And if you're around my family, they'll say, oh, Hope's always talking. She meets someone and she just starts talking. Yes, I used to feel ashamed. Now I don't. My teachers would say, Hope is a great student, but she talks all the time. No, people listen to me because I got something to say. If I didn't have nothing to say, they wouldn't want to listen to me. And all that with ditching class didn't happen till high school or junior high. Elementary, I was good. Yeah, awesome. I love it. I love it. And this is what I do. So I come on every day and I talk. You should do public speaking. Chris Ferrari, this is what I'm doing. I am a speaker. This is why I accomplished the goal of getting a TED Talk. Because as a speaker, it is like a stamp of approval. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have videos on public speaking. And yeah, I kind of do that. I kind of teach just comfort and confidence. Because really, my dad taught me this. And I said, Dad, how did you teach us to speak with confidence? And he said, well, you have to believe in what you're speaking about. So if you're a salesperson, if you don't believe in the product, it's going to come up that way. That's why if you speak publicly, do you know what you're saying? If you speak publicly, do you know what you're saying? I clarify that. Lulu Bell, thank you for the follow. So let me continue this and then I'm going to go to sleep because I need my beauty rest. My father was a great salesperson and he would say the best salespeople aren't selling you anything. They're not. What they're doing is listening to you. They're actually getting to know you. They're actually engaging. They're actually thoughtful. Because in that sense, you're building a relationship and you can identify what the person, how they would benefit from said item. If you're just selling anything, you'll sell somebody something that they don't need. They'll return it. They'll resent you. They'll avoid you. No, you want people to feel appreciated, and to be given something that's useful. It's the same thing with speaking publicly. If you don't believe in what you're saying, it translates. And let's take it a step further. If you don't believe in you, that translates too. So, yes, exactly, Hazel, creating value. But if you don't believe in you, if you're thinking that that dialogue is, I shouldn't be up here, people are looking at me, my fly is down, I'm not worthy, I'm funny looking, people are judging me, that will come out. There comes the space of stopping that dialogue and believing in yourself. That takes our whole life's work, because you can't fake your belief in yourself. You can't. And the secret is also, who else would you believe in? It all starts with you. Really, when I speak and I say I'm a motivational speaker, it comes back to us individually, not anyone. Thank you, Chris. But I do need some sleep. Boy, please. You know how many nights of rest I missed because I've been flying? Finos, Theo, thank you for the follow. I definitely am not missing any sleep because of anyone crazy. I'll tell you that. But I think it will take a good maybe 10 more years to to make up for all of the nights I had to fly through the night, especially while I was based in London, because I was usually missing 2 nights of sleep. However, I sleep well here at my parents' house, and got the nice fire, and I have my sparkling water, which I love. And that's what I do. So subscribe to my YouTube. There's more of these on YouTube. All of my lives, as well as the last piece of content I just made, the 5 things I've learned in grief from losing my father. And I'm doing one about, I'm editing this video about courage. And it's the courage of when I moved, because I've moved a few times. I'll up and move at any time. Like, there's always something going on with me. It can be hard to pin down. Thank you for Z2 for sharing the live. So this is what I do. As I said, subscribe to my YouTube because I post all of these on my YouTube. There will be announcements. As I said, I wait till everything is signed and finalized before I make any announcements, especially with any project speaking. And let's continue to be helpful, because that's my name, okay? Thank you. I'm so glad you came across me. I look forward to buying your book. That's right, Stephen. You the first one. I'm writing it down. Stephen is awesome is the first buyer of the book. Ray Jordan, thank you for sharing the live. Roy Le Roy, which is the king in French. Yeah, everything is on the other side of fear. That's why I appreciate you, and thank you, Hazel. Fear, the only difference between moving towards fear and not moving towards fear is movement, because you can feel fear, but understand that's part of it. That's a part of it. Your body is trying to keep you safe. Everything your mind does is to protect you. So fear is a protection. I feel fear and I do it anyway. That's it. I ain't gonna stand around with y'all talking about, I don't want to do it. What happens if we do it? I don't think, y'all can be over there talking about that. I've already done it, okay? I'm going on. So you go over there, go sit in the car and talk about, well, I don't know if I could do it, and I'm afraid, and what about if it, I don't, bye, okay? Bye. I'm gone, okay? I'm gone. Have a cup of tea. I'm already on the other side of what y'all afraid to do. That's what we doing. All right. So what I'm doing is going to sleep, and I will be back with more uplifting, funny, encouraging content. I will always encourage you to, I'm not encouraging you to cheat on your partner, but I think that there's something to be learned in whatever you do. I truly believe, thank you, Granny and Zay23, our life is our lesson. Yeah, thank you. Look forward to me. I will. Uh, hey, listen, I've been ducking and dodging that marriage thing. I know. I know. I don't even, I'm just getting to the space of admitting that I've actually, I've had a fake marriage, but I don't believe that that is for me. And that's simply from I've really enjoyed seeing my parents' relationship, and they had a great relationship. But I like them all, and it doesn't. I say all of this, yeah, and fear of being alone is great. Oh my gosh, I mean that fear of being alone, the fear of being with someone that you don't like is yeesh. Ay. Okay, Meg, here we go. Now it's time for me to get off. Now I'm going to go. Yeah, and here, let me share this with you, Hazel. You're not alone, you're with yourself. There's a difference. When you say you're alone, it feels different compared to I'm with myself. I'm with myself. Thank you, Shuhil Khan 682. I'm with myself. I love being with myself. I'm confident with myself. I love my home. I love traveling with myself. I'll go eat by myself, all with myself. When people say, is it just you? I'll say, it's not just me. I'm with myself. There's the difference. The mysteries of the universe. What are the mysteries of the universe? That's right, Alan Jeter. Yes, Hazel. The lie is that being alone is like this horrible place. No, it's not. I'm with myself because you can feel alone and be in a crowd of people, or you can be with someone and wishing to be alone. You are not lonely. Is that a question or a statement? I love freedom. That's my life's goal is just freedom. Time freedom, travel freedom, space freedom, just freedom. I love to be free. And oh, okay. So you're telling me, because if it's a statement, you're stating that you are not lonely. Because I'm not, and I wouldn't feel lonely. I have books and stuff to do. I don't know about all of that, and I have enough around me that keeps me entertained, because you got to stay entertained. So that's it for me. I'm really gonna get off here because I really want to go to sleep. I do need my beauty rest, and that means to start the process. So this has been a great live. This has been different. I will, Alan Jeter, because I typically don't come on late like this, but I'm enjoying this, Meg. You may see more of this. You may see more of this. And my sleep schedule is all different because of life. So I love you, and I close all my lives with be the reflection of love, because we all come from an infinite source of love. Show up. Show up because it's the weekend, which means nothing. This is like for 9 to 5ers that wait for the weekend. But show up, show up, show up, show up. It won't happen unless you show up. The dream won't be fulfilled unless you show up. You gotta show up. And that's right, Mag, show up. Make it look good when you show up. Don't be coming to my lives in sweats with holes and stains and like mustard and ketchup spots. We ain't doing that. Make it look good when you show up. And you're greater than you'll ever know. You are greater than you'll ever know. But to find out how great you are, you will have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Just know that you're great, that you're loved, and that if you're here, you're somewhere special, baby, because I'm special. That's why my name is Hope. So good night, and follow me. 2024, You're welcome. You're welcome. With pleasure. With pleasure. Got to go. Got to go. Got to go. Be the change and floss, smile, and drink water. Good night.